We are being recorded.
Sweet.
He's telling me on the screen. All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of Metal Minions. Is that what
Yeah.
we're getting? Metal Minions? Metal
Yeah.
Minions. Where we talk about hard rock, heavy metal, and all in between. I'm Kyle, and over
I'm Will.
there is
I'm
Will.
Will.
And we're just gonna two people just talking about hard rock and heavy metal and all that shenanigans.
Yeah.
Do you want to start what you got picked up today at the record store?
Sure. So recently I decided to buy myself a record player. I've just been always wanting one for the longest time. My parents had one growing up. And I'd say for the past like few weeks, maybe a couple months, I've been wanting one. So I finally made the decision to do it. Uh, First two albums I picked up the night that I bought my record player. I went with the newest Marilyn Manson album. And I also
Is John
got,
5 on that?
I don't think John 5's on that one. Not sure. I've listened to it all the way through, but I haven't heard any John 5 on it. I'll probably have to listen to it again with like no interruptions. I also picked up Creed Greatest Hits. A lot of people aren't Creed fans.
I
Me,
love Great Hits. I love
I,
Great.
I, I grew up on Creed. And then today, I went to a local record store here in, uh, technically it's in Daytona. I live on the outskirts of Daytona, but I picked up first one I saw, and I had to get it because he's the goat. You know,
Ozzy is.
Ozzy's Diary of a Madman. First one I saw, I was like, yeah, no matter what, if I don't walk out of here with anything, I'm walking out of here with this. And then as I was looking on, I didn't see anything else I really wanted. I saw a few albums. Saw a couple of Five Finger Death Punch albums. Was thinking about getting those. So I'm a huge fan of Ivan Moody. And then I asked the guy that worked there, and I was like, I'm really looking for two albums that I loved growing up. And I asked him if they had Black Sabbath's Paranoid, because why not? Black Sabbath will
Like
forever.
that, the godfathers of heavy metal.
Exactly. So I asked for Paranoid. Yeah, everybody's going to be like, oh, you picked up Paranoid because it has Iron Man on it. Yeah, that is my favorite Black Sabbath song. It's everybody's favorite Black Sabbath song. But no, it was the first album that my dad introduced me to with Black Sabbath. So I was like, you know what? I need it. Grabbed it. And the second album I asked for was Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil. Because, yes, I have Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil shirt on because that is one of my favorite albums from them. So I had to pick up those two. The guy told me when he was looking for this one, because both Paranoid and Shout at the Devil were only one left in the store. I happened to grab the last two. They also have. They also have. Sorry about that. I have a 3-year-old son who likes to turn off lights, y'all. He said they have girls, girls, girls. Lights are gonna keep going on and off. It's his favorite thing. But yes, they have girls, girls, girls. So I think the next trip I go to that store specifically, I'm probably going to go grab girls, girls, girls.
Nice.
I also plan on with my fiance going in, hitting up our local flea market, seeing what they have, and another local record store and picking up seeing what they have. There's a few more older albums I'm looking for. The vinyl store I went to today, I saw that they had a unopened, brand new, I believe it was from the year that it came out, and it just happens to be my favorite album was Metallica's Garage Inc. Because that has my favorite all-time Metallica song. And no, it's not Enter Sandman, different album. Whiskey in the Jar. That will forever be my favorite Metallica song. They wanted like 135, 140 bucks for it. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely picking that up. Told my fiance, I was like, hey, birthday's coming around, Christmas. If you're ever here by yourself, pick an album up for me.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I picked up, and my collection's definitely going to keep growing because, like I said, I grew up on vinyls, grew up on heavy metal, grew up on hair bands. 80s to today is what I grew up on, and a little bit of 70s. Obviously Black Sabbath.
Right.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then once Kyle shares what he's got, we can dig into further, deeper albums, besides vinyls, we can go deeper into whatever our favorite albums.
Our
yeah,
our favorite albums of our favorite of any genre. Like I said, you can talk about new metal. That's why I kind of got Will onto this podcast with me, because there is new metal upbringings. I mean, I'm a '90s kid, but I just never got into the new
right.
metal side.
There's bands that Kyle listens to that I don't listen to. There's bands that I listen to that Kyle doesn't, and vice versa. So
That's why we call it the Rock and Metal Minions, because we all stand for hard rock and heavy metal.
exactly.
Now, that being said, I went to my record store, which is located in a flea market in Joppertown, Maryland, Video Village. They sell more than just records. They sell CDs, tapes, DVDs, VHSs, you name it, they got it. So my first one that I got was Loudness, Thunder in the East, their 1985 record on Atco Records. I found this when I was like, yes, please. Because I had a reissue of this when I went down to Soundgarden on my birthday years ago, and it was on color vinyl, and it was remastered on 1080p vinyl, and it was really squeaky, and the tape mastering, it wasn't. So I got rid of it, and I was like, that is a hole in the collection that I need, and I found it today. The next one, I don't know if I'm able to show it, but we'll do it this way. Keel's debut album, Lay Down the Law. This is Keel. I mean, if you're a fan of what a rookie podcast. Anywho, we like Keel and his first band that he was with Yngwie Malmsteen, Steeler. This is the first debut record. I'm missing one more from it, and then I have the Keel collection. I mean, he has newer stuff, but I. And then this one, I found this one when I've been watching videos of podcast videos. I mean, of different people, and they keep showing this record. I'm like, I really want this record. I love it a lot, and it's Icon's debut.
Ooh. Good album.
It's on Capitol Records. And then the other stuff I got some CDs and some tapes. I got Crocus the Blitz on CD.
Sweet.
I got Y&T Open Fire. I believe this is a live album, but it has some studio stuff with it. But it's pretty good. I had it on vinyl, but I got rid of it, and then I found it again.
Nice.
And then I'm familiar with the band, but I'm not familiar with this album. I just picked it up as a blind buy, and it's the Rods.
I feel like I've heard of the Rods.
Heavier Than You.
Music.
Yeah, they're really good, like new wave of British heavy metal. Overkill's 2017 release, The Grinding Wheel. This was really good when it came out. Really good.
Nice.
And then, say it with me, Lee. I mean, Lee. You're not Lee, you're Will. Say it with me, Will.
I'm here.
Slayer.
It's funny because at the vinyl record store today, I saw a Slayer album, but it wasn't the one I wanted. I want the one, obviously, everybody knows the Slayer song, Raining Blood. I wanted that one. I wanted that one so bad, but that wasn't the album.
Right.
So I'll find it.
Haunting the Travel. Haunting the Travel EP.
Nice.
And, and then I got Judas Priest Rock and Roll from 1974, their debut.
Ooh, good one.
May have to check it out.
Yeah.
It has some cool stuff on it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
And then I got their comeback album in 2008,
Okay.
Notre Damus.
Ooh, okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to look for that one.
And take it from here, Will. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, Kyle and I definitely have some good pickups today. You know, like I said, I'm looking for more albums. He mentioned he's got a Slayer album. Like I said, I found the Slayer album today. Wasn't the one I was really looking for. Some other finds that I saw that I didn't pick up, and I kind of regret not picking it up. I regret not picking up the Five Finger Death Punch album because it was their decade album, and it had like 10 albums worth, or 10 years worth of albums on it. Kind of regret not picking that one up. I might pick it up next time. I saw Alice in Chains album. The only song that they had on there that I really was a fan of was Nutshell. But yeah, I was seeing a lot of bands. This store had a boatload, and I mean a boatload of Kiss stuff.
Boatload of Kiss stuff. That's my middle name.
Boatload of Kiss stuff. They had a Psycho Circus jersey. I believe they even had the album. I kind of regret not getting that. The album. I might go back and get the jersey. The jersey was really nice. It was still in good condition. You could tell somebody had owned it at one point, but it was in great condition still. And I mean, when I say they had a boatload of Kiss stuff, they had Kiss albums before they even started wearing the makeup. They even had, you know, the brand new unopened Kiss comic, which that's really hard to find.
Yeah, I have some Kiss comics. I have it in that closet
right
there, if you can see it. I have like a tote and it's full of Kiss stuff. I believe it's like all over the place with the Psycho Circus comics. I got them years ago down at the Dundalk Flea Market with you may know the record store. It was Dr. Shock Record Shop.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And yeah, he had those things, and I bought everything that he had from Kiss. I bought like the biographies, the minifigures, and I mean, the only Kiss album I don't have, and I will complete the collection, is The Elder. That's the only album I don't have by Kiss. And and yeah. Will's son keeps turning on and off the lights.
He really is. That's his favorite thing to do. He loves turning off lights. Like I said, everybody, you know, whoever wants to join in and listen, I'll apologize. You know, I'm sitting in my dining room right now, and I have a 3-year-old son. He's autistic. He doesn't talk, you know, so. But one of his favorite things recently is to turn off light switches. Sometimes it comes in handy, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, to go back to the music topic, this store was, I mean, cram packed with stuff. And I mean, they had CDs, cassettes, they had Christmas music, country music.
There's actually a Christmas album I'm actually looking for, and it was the Twisted Sister Twisted Christmas album. I don't know if you have ever.
I think they had that. I saw a few Twisted Sister albums. One of them I was thinking about getting, but the price for it just didn't seem right for me. And I mean, the 3 that I bought today, Shout at the Devil was $27.99, Paranoid was $32.99, and I think Diary of a Madman was $35. So I mean, you can tell me
for the OG Diary of a Madman, $35 is not bad.
No, not at all. No,
compared to other record stores and stuff.
it could be probably cheaper, maybe. I
Mhm.
mean, or more expensive.
Depends on like the jacket, the vinyl itself, if it doesn't
Right,
have like a lot of scratches or anything.
right.
It's pretty cool stuff.
I think the Twisted Sister one was like $14, but I had never heard of that album, and I wasn't really big on Twisted Sister. Like,
Was it Come Out and Play?
it may have been Come Out and Play. I'm not 100%
I'll
sure.
be right back. I'll show you some of the Twisted Sister albums. I'll see
Okay.
if those are the albums that we're talking about.
But yeah, while Kyle's gone, guys, so Kyle lives in Maryland. I used to live in Maryland. I've been in Florida for almost 4 years. May, I think, will be 4 years. But like I said, I grew up listening to rock. My dad introduced me to, bands in the 80s, Motley Crue, stuff like that. One band that my dad introduced me to in the 90s that I will say is my all-time favorite right now is Rob Zombie. I love Rob Zombie. But yeah, there's another subject once we're done talking about albums that I can bring up that wish Kyle was able to come down and go to with me next year. We'll talk about that if we're done albums.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to Rockville. I mean, I've seen one band that I wanted to see, and it was Testament. I mean, I didn't really see nobody. I mean, I didn't really look.
Right.
But
I mean, I have the lineup on my phone. I have a picture of it, so when we get underneath that conversation, I can name out some of the bands that people may be interested in seeing.
Did it look like this?
I don't think it was that one. They looked really. I mean, I'm only saying this because they're older now, but they looked like really young. It looked like maybe one of their first early albums.
Oh, we have a special guest, Will.
Oh,
We got Dee Snider.
Nice. It was God, I wish I knew the name of that album. I looked at the front of it and was like, oh, okay, cool, Twisted Sister. I grew up listening to them, and then I looked at the back and I was like, I don't recognize any of these songs. And
It didn't look like this.
It may have been that one.
It was Stay Hungry. I mean, it's got We're Not Gonna Take It and I Want to Rock.
No, it wasn't that one. Yeah, it wasn't the Stay Hungry, no.
I wonder which one it is. Very curious. Because I have these two on vinyl, Come Out and Play.
Yeah, it wasn't Come Out and Play, I don't think.
I have You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, which just has the TS logo, and it says You Can't Stop Rock and Roll.
No, it wasn't that. It was the whole band. The whole band was on the cover.
Oh. I'm very familiar then.
Yeah.
But I guess we can get into talking about our favorite albums.
All right, so I'll let you go first.
Okay. Do you want me to do you want me to show one and then we'll talk about it and then show another one and then just
yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Let me get the stuff from the record store out of the way so I don't re-show them because knowing my ADHD. Which one do we want to start out with? You know what? I'm going to start out with this one.
Okay.
Because number one, it's a 2000 record, so you would go with this. Okay. I would highly recommend this album to you and to anybody else that's watching this.
It's a little blurry. Which one is it?
Well, I can't show you yet.
Oh.
And then number two, it has our favorite person in the band. It's a super group.
6 a.m.?
Not 6 a.m. It's Nikki Sixx's other band, Rise of Destruction.
That's right. I forgot about Rise of Destruction.
And he was with Tracy Guns. Tracy Guns was the guitar player. Scott Coogan, who plays in Stephen Pearcy's version of Rat, and Ace Frehley's drummer for and then London Lee Grand, singer for this. And like I said, I highly recommend, if you haven't listened to this album yet, Will, or anybody else, this album was one of my favorites. I listened to this a lot on my MP3 player when I was in middle school because I was a diehard Motley Crue fan, and anything that Nikki Sixx touched, I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. And I found this record, and it was like the highlight of my high school. It was just the tracking list is "Shut the F Up," "I Don't Care," "I Got a Gun," "Two Times Dead," "Brace Yourself," "Natural Born Killers," "Life Revolution," and then it ends so weird with a ballad. Only Get So Far, but the ballad, this album right here, and this is the last album to feature Nikki Sixx. The band continues, but once Motley decided to get back together to do the Red, White, and Crew tour.
Ooh.
That was when. Yes. That was when Nikki left this band and went back to the mothership for the. Let's see, Motley Crue split up after Dr. Feelgood in '94, and then they got back together in 2000. Well, in the '90s. So it's like, and then they did the contract thing and whatever. Number 4 get together, Motley Crue.
Right.
But my favorite songs on here is "I Got a Gun," "Two Times Dead," and it's like punk mixed with like the old, I shouldn't say old, like Too Fast for Love era of Motley, and mixed with like punk. It's just it's in my opinion Too Fast for Love. It's the little brother of Too Fast for Love.
Okay, I can live with that.
And Tracy Guns was a big fan of Motley Crue. If you watch the Paramount hair metal documentary that they did on Paramount Plus,
I got to start watching that one.
Tracy Guns talks highly about Motley Crue back in the day. He was really happy that he was with Nikki and he made this album. This is a really good album for anybody to listen to. Another one. Let's go a little different because, like I said, as this episode's rocky, we might as just be a little rocky. Rolling Stones, "Sticky Fingers."
I wasn't big on Rolling Stones, I listened to them, but they weren't my cup of tea.
I liked them because my mom's relatives,
okay,
like my grandmother and her husband, they were big Beatles fans, and I'm like, Beatles with old cuts and the suits and ties. Yes, the Stones did that, yes, but that was the only era of the Beatles that they listened to, and I was like,
I get that.
No. I found out that the Rolling Stones was cool. I was like, you have Keith Richards smoking a cigarette and drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels. That's rock and roll to me. And Keith Richards is a big role model to me. And this was the first album I listened to by the Rolling Stones, and I've been a Rolling Stones fan for years. I mean, like I said, and this got Brown Sugar on it. I mean, the hit Brown Sugar that you hear on the classic rock radio station. But my favorite song on this record is Wild Horses. It's like a country. Have you heard Wild Horses?
I feel like I have.
The Wild Horses is like a country twang. It's really cool.
All right.
You want me to do one more and then you can?
Yeah.
All right. What should I do? You know what? Why not? Sex Pistols. Never mind the Bollocks. This is the first punk band that I listened to, and probably the only punk band. I lie. I listened to Johnny Thunders when he left the New York Dolls. I'm just a big punk guy. I mean, And of course, everybody knows the songs. I don't have to say the songs. I mean, there's so many cover. I mean, so many bands. I mean, for God's sakes, Motley Crue covers Anarchy in the UK. So, I mean, it's
Right. What other song did they cover? They covered. Was it really a cover? I never really listened to it, but was Helter Skelter a cover?
Helter Skelter was a cover. That was from the
Okay.
Beatles.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know the Beatles did it. I never listened to it, but
Yeah.
and then it was covered.
Nicky liked the Beatles, and that's
Mm,
why he did like that blood scene with the blood because the Beatles did it
yes.
well. So he was just mimicking his idols, as most of us rock fans do. If we're in a band, we
Yes.
imitate our idols. Imitation is the flatterest thing to do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks. It's really good.
That's a good album. So I really don't hold CDs. I haven't had CDs in God knows how long. I mainly listen to all my music on Apple Music because I have an iPhone, and I'm just starting up a vinyl collection. But if I had to pick some albums, I think one that will forever be my favorite, and it's probably the first band that my dad introduced me from the 90s, and he will always, 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 always be my favorite, is Rob Zombie. Hellbilly Deluxe was my favorite album. You know, obviously, everybody's favorite song off of that is going to be Dragula. Will ever forever be my favorite song. Living Dead Girl, that's another great song off of that album. I mean, hell, I'm such a big Rob Zombie fan. I have the Devil's Rejects tattooed on my lower left leg, wrapping
I think
around.
I seen
Um,
it twice.
and I have Rob Zombie's signature right near my knee. One episode, I'll have to show that. Um, Another album that I would say is probably one of my all-time favorites. It's an older album. Would be Linkin Park's Matoria, I think that's how you say it. And my favorite song off of that album is Numb. Um, and, you know, a lot of people kind of looked at me funny when Chester, you know, unalived himself, you know, because we have to stay politically correct in saying things like that sometimes. But yeah, it hurt me a little bit, you know. Granted, yeah, I didn't know Chester or anything like that, but Linkin Park is actually one of the bands, if not the only band, that actually brought me back into rock. When I hit middle school. I kind of fell out and, you know, wanted to be like the other kids and listen to rap, but I started listening to Linkin Park again, and they kind of brought me back. So, Numb is definitely one of my favorite songs from that album. And then it's hard to pick a third. I could go with, you know what, here recently. It's probably about a 4 or 5 year old album. But uh, I'll have to say Falling in Reverse is Popular Monster. Obviously, the song Popular Monster. That one hit home really, really good because, you know, um, mental health in men is something serious. And
Yes, mental health is not something to be played with, and it's
right.
really a rise for a lot of things. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
So when that song came out and I first listened to it, I was going down a dark hole, and I listened to that, and it kind of brought me out of that slump that I was in. And um, you know, Kyle, you know, he's one of my good friends. You know, he told me he was going through some things, and I told him, I was like, hey, listen to this song, man. I was like, just listen to it one time through, and then listen to it a couple more times, but listen to the lyrics. And, you know, even if you have to, you know, Google the lyrics, read them, and just think about it. And like, dude, it'll bring you out of that slump. And if it doesn't, you know, just keep listening to it, keep listening to it, keep listening to it. You will get what Ronnie's trying to say. And that song has brought me back. You know, I've fallen into slumps. You know, I try not to, and I try to keep it hidden because you know, I try to not show my emotions to people because it's just how I am. You know, with having a military background, you know, don't like to try to show my emotion, so I kind of hide it. But music is one of my key things to get me out of whatever slump that I'm in. And when I was in that deep dark hole and that song came out, and I just listened to it because I'm a big Falling in Reverse fan. I was an Escape to Fate fan when Ronnie was there, and once he left, or once they let him go, and he formed Falling in Reverse, I became Falling in Reverse fans. But yeah, that song is a go-to if you're definitely in a deep depression or you're just going through a lot of BS in your life. But yeah, those 3 albums and those 3 songs are probably my go-tos. If anybody ever had to ask me what my top 3 songs were or top 3 albums.
Yeah, like Will said, I texted him way before this, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not really feeling it." And he was just like, "Just listen to some music and stuff like that." And I was like, "You know what?" Because I was in a slump. I wasn't listening to any hard rock or heavy metal or anything. I was just bleh. And then what Will recommended, and then I went back to my roots. And the album I'm about to show is, I'm probably going around, but just saying that this album right here is my tried and true favorite album of all time, and it is Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love.
Great album. Great album.
And On With the Show is my, got me into Motley Crue was On With the Show, and hearing those lyrics, it was like, okay, everybody's dealing with some things. And I listened to this full album, and I was like, you know what, I'm back into the circle, back to listening to records and buying records and wearing the jacket, wearing the vest, and it's just like, this album right here brought everything back. And my good friend Will brought me back, and was like, all right, you can't be in the slump forever.
Yeah, music is a key. And I mean, kind of stay on that same subject. When I was in high school, when I was in 9th grade, they say when you're in high school, you start to like find out who you are and find out who you want to be. And I kind of lost track of who I was and who I wanted to be. And my parents are Creed fans, and they introduced me to this song off of the album that came out that same year. It's called Thousand Faces. And I did the same thing like I told Kyle, listen to this song 1 or 2 times through, and then listen to it again and like actually pay attention to what they're saying, what the lyrics are, telling you. And once I listened to that song, I listened to it, on repeat nonstop for like a good week or 2. And it finally, like, I realized I'm not being who I truly am. I'm trying to be somebody else.
Yeah.
So there's people don't understand the message in music nowadays. Ozzy was a great person who put messages in music. What Crazy Train? There's a message in that song. Guns N' Roses is Patience. There's a message in that song. And I mean, there's not only messages, but there's stories behind songs. What's another song? Voodoo from Godsmack. There's a message behind that.
A big message on that one.
And if you don't seek that message, or you don't try to understand that message or the story that's being told in music, you're listening to it for fun. What's another song? Staying on the subject of Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home.
Yep, they were tired of living on the road, and it's like, you know what? Let me go back home in Hollywood, California, and just relax. It's like maybe being a rock star wasn't all fun to be, They were debauchery as you know what.
Yep.
And they finally was like,
my son's in the dryer. I'm just going to let him stay in there.
Yes, the first episode, he's in the dryer.
Oh, he's in the dryer.
He's on the spin cycle, folks. But one of my favorite bands of all time, and probably Will knows who I'm about to show, but this is my favorite record by this band, and it's Kiss Rock and Roll Over.
Yeah, that's a great album.
This album right here has, it's a party album for sure. I mean, it's got Calling Dr. Love, Ladies Room, Mr. Speed, Hard Luck Woman, Take Me, See You in Your Dreams. I mean, I could spin this and just recite everything. And it's a really cool record. I mean, this would be, as I said, Motley Crue was number one. I technically have to put this at number one because Kiss was the first band I got into, and then it was Motley. So it was just so technically this is number one and Motley's number two.
Oh yeah.
Another album. Will just showed this for his record trip, but this is my favorite album by the GOAT, Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman.
Oh yeah.
This album right here is just
great.
I mean, the last song on it, Diary of a Madman, as Randy Rhoads would just jam on this full record. I mean, it's just Little Dolls and Flying High Again. I mean, you hear it on the radio, but still, it's pretty good. I mean, Over the Mountain. You can't kill rock and roll because it's my religion and my cult will never change. Let me explain. You can't kill rock and roll because it's here.
And see, that's the thing is listening to rock on the radio and then listening it on either on a CD or a vinyl. Completely different. It gives you a completely different mood and vibe. And I mean, I can listen to, Motley all day on the radio, but once I put this vinyl on, which I plan on it tonight, I plan on listening to this album. Once I put my son to bed and I'm actually able to do that, it's just going to sound completely different. Like I have that whole Shout at the Devil album on my Apple Music, and I listen to it probably at least 2 or 3 times a week while I'm at work. But listening to it on the radio or listening to it on your phone, yeah, you get a vibe from it, and you can headbang to it. But I had it on CD, now I have it on vinyl. It's going to be a whole completely different vibe.
Completely agree. I mean, I ran into, well, not ran into. I was at the grocery store today, and I had my leather jacket on, and it has the Anthrax Fistful of Metal back patch. I put it on. I actually found that patch at a video game store. It was sitting on the shelf for like $5, and I was like, "Yes, please."
Right.
And then I was like, so I'm walking through the gas station, the grocery store, and the guy that was folding boxes, one of the employees, was like, "I love your jacket, dude. Nobody does that anymore. Everybody listens to like rap or stuff like that." And then we actually sat on a case of soda and sitting like this and just talking about hard rock and heavy metal until my girlfriend Savannah was done grocery shopping, and she's like, "Oh, you found a friend." And I was like,
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I actually want to start doing that. I was telling my fiance Sarah that I want to get either a black or a gray all jean vest, and I wanted to start putting patches on it. I think I have one now, and I've had it for 5 years and haven't done anything with it. It's a Twins of Evil patch from when Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson did their second tour of the Twins of Evil. I went and saw them. Their first stop and their second go around of that tour was in Baltimore, so I went and seen them. And
Merriweather, or was it at the arena?
It was at the arena, whatever it was called back then, because I know it's changed names like.
It's called the CFG Arena now, but I don't know what it's called now.
I think it might still be the CFG or CF whatever.
Oh yeah, it's called CFG. I didn't know when you.
Yeah, there you go. It was. I think it was still the Baltimore. It was Royal Farms Arena when I went.
Royal Farms Arena, yeah. That name changes like underwear, but.
Dude, it's changed like, Kyle's 30. I'm getting ready to turn 30 in a week exactly from today. It's probably changed names in our 30 years of life probably about 10 times, if not more.
And iconic bands played there because when I went to go see Kiss on their farewell tour, the guy that was outside waiting, letting us sit in a foul line.
Mhm.
Actually, it was a year ago. I seen him back in November.
Nice.
Oh, it's crazy. The year has.
I think in 2015 that's where I saw Motley for the first time. So I've seen Motley Crue twice. I've seen them in 2015 when Mick Mars was still part of the band, and then I saw them earlier this year at Welcome to Rockville in Daytona, which we're going to get on the subject about that here soon. They were day one's headliner, and John 5 is the replacement for Mick. So I can say that I've seen Motley Crue originally, and now with the newest edition of John 5. And I mean, to me, they killed it both times. Being able to say that I see Motley with Mick, in my opinion, he's in the top 5 of,
top 5 favorite guitarists for me as well.
Oh, yes. He's definitely in my top 5 of guitar players. So, yeah, great time. Who did I see them with when I saw them the first time? I think it was Alice Cooper.
Yeah, Alice Cooper was the opener for the
Yes.
farewell tour.
Yep.
I put it in air quotes.
Yeah, as many times as they've had farewell tours.
Yeah, you can thank the Dirt for them to come back. I mean, that's what everybody's been saying. They're like, "Oh, the Dirt was so popular; it was #1 in Netflix for X amount of weeks." I'm like,
I mean, it's still on there, and it's been out for like 4 years, give or take.
yeah, I've seen it like 20 sometimes.
I was gonna say I watch it. If I'm scrolling through Netflix and I find I don't want to watch anything on Netflix, even if I have a show that I'm watching and I'm like, you know what, I don't feel like watching it. I'm like, hey, Dirt's still on. It's on my list still. All right, let's watch the Dirt.
Yeah, just put it on. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a good movie. I mean,
it is. It's a great movie. And we could dissect that one of the episodes. I have a few things, that I could say, hey, why did they do this, or why did this person betray that? But we can dissect it on another.
Definitely do that. Actually, you know what? I can just throw it out here right now. Next Friday when we film for the next episode, we can do that episode. We can
Sweet. Yeah, we can do that.
We can do that. So, folks, episode number 2 will be dissecting the Dirt movie.
How about before Friday we'll go ahead and rewatch it?
Yes.
And then we'll kind of like, if we have to, make notes. I mean, like I have one that pops into my head all the time, and it's like, why did he agree to do that? But we'll talk about that on the next episode.
I have one thing to say about that, and it would be one of my things. It's like, how did he sing that song? That song didn't come out yet.
Right. Yeah, so we can definitely dissect that for sure.
So do you want me to are you on a time restraint?
No.
Okay, so I'm just gonna thumble. I'm gonna thumble through some unless you have some more you want to talk about.
No, I mean, I think that's it. I know we'll eventually get into talking about Rockville, but if there's something else you want to factor into,
okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not really on a time restraint.
I know that I was grabbing so much stuff. I'm like, oh, I like this album. I like this. Sent Will a picture, and I was like, is this okay? And he's like, yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
So, we talked about this off air. Like Hole in the Sky, Symptom of the Universe. I mean, like I was telling Will off camera, and I'll say it on here. Everybody was talking about Paranoid. Not saying Paranoid's a bad album. I'm not saying that at all, folks. It's just there was so many of my friends. They were like, "You gotta check this album out. You gotta check this album out." And I was like, "I want to find an album so people can share with me, so I can be like, hey, check this album out."
Right.
I found it on YouTube because I had a laptop when I was in high school, and I would just thumb through albums and stuff. And I finally got a copy. It's amount of years later. I got this at a Record and Tape Trader in Towson. I miss that place.
I'm so mad that those stores closed and they were only up there.
Yeah.
And I looked to see if we had one down here, and it just kept telling me all the ones back home, and of course, they're permanently closed.
Yeah, I mean, the only real record store that we have here, I mean, I shouldn't say, we have Soundgarden, we have Wax, but yeah, the big stores, FYE, but FYE doesn't really carry a lot of stuff that, I mean, I listen to and you probably listen to as well, but
I actually might check out FYE. I completely forgot about FYE. Like, we have a mall down here, and you're gonna laugh when I say this, but it's like a combination of East Point Mall and Hartford Mall. If you've ever been to Hartford Mall,
oh yeah, I'm in the Hartford Mall.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Hartford
a
Mall,
combination of both of those.
right. So, but I mean, like I said, Wax is very far away. It's in Catonsville, so it's kind of a far drive just to thumb through records, and it makes you have, in my opinion, since you drive all the way out there,
Right.
excuse me, you would have to buy something because it's just like, oh, I went out there, I might as well just find something. And
Exactly.
I found some stuff there. Another band that I love and dear to my heart, and then was upset that they couldn't continue their farewell tour because due to the singer's vocal cords, and they canceled on the same day before they came to Washington D.C. and it was Aerosmith.
Yes.
Aerosmith rocks. This is my favorite era of Aerosmith. I love the 70s Aerosmith. Not saying I love Aerosmith. The 80s is okay, but the 70s, I mean, you can smell the cocaine on this record. I mean,
Hey, you never know, man. Somebody could have had that back in the '80s, and could have been,
you never know.
you never know, man.
But I mean, it's just, I mean, look at the jacket. I mean, just, it's so cool looking. I mean, it's so cool. And it's just a great rocking record. I mean, I put this on around the summertime. I really put it on around the wintertime because you can't really jam out in the wintertime where I'm at. Because, I
That's
mean,
true.
it's really cold. But to me, this is more of a summertime album to me. Not saying I don't listen to it. I shouldn't say
Right.
that. But to me, I would put this on. I mean, Back in the Saddle, Last Child, Rats in the Cellar. I mean, Sick as a Dog, Licking a Promise. I mean, Home Tonight. It's just
Good songs. All
it's a
good songs.
great record.
So I actually want to say something. Going back to Sabbath, have you heard? You know who T-Pain is, right? The rapper.
Yeah.
Have you heard his cover of War Pigs?
No, I haven't.
So okay, obviously you said you've heard of him. He's big on using auto tune.
Oh, does it sound like Ozzy?
So he doesn't sound like Ozzy, but the whole song he does not use auto tune. It's his actual voice. Preferably me, in my opinion, I think he did good. You have to give that a listen.
I will
Because
definitely listen to it after I'm done. We're done here for sure. Yeah.
yeah, so it was a good song. WWE made it their theme song for War Games.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I never, because I did watch War Games. I
A
just
lot of people didn't notice it.
maybe I didn't. I was just like, oh snap, War Pigs. They're doing
Yeah,
another Sabbath song because they did Sabbath. I think they did Paranoid last year.
So I think they did last year. Yes. But yeah, I mean, it's my opinion. A lot of people, I've had a few people say, I wasn't a fan of it. I mean, I respect it, but I like covers of rock songs. And I like when rock bands do covers of other genres. And we can make that another episode too, talking about covers. Whether it's a rap song, country song, another rock song being covered. Because I'm huge on covers. And
Good
not
cover.
to change.
Always a
Not,
good cover.
oh yeah, covers are great. I'm big on covers, and I'm kind of like glancing over at my phone. I'm kind of paying attention. I have my ESPN app open, and I'm watching the Caps game and the SEC championship game, and I'm hoping and praying that Texas wins. They're down by 3 with 39 seconds left, and the Caps
I'm excited for the Oregon game.
So am I. And the Caps are down 1-0 with 8.5 minutes left in the first.
Oh, we got 40 minutes still of hockey, folks. Hockey.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm hoping Texas beats Georgia. I can't stand Georgia, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, definitely give that song a listen. Let me know what you think. I like I said, I personally like it. And is there any other songs that classic songs like that have been covered that I can think of off the top of my head? No. You know, and I'm not big on rap anymore. But when somebody told me that he did a cover of it, I was like, yeah, I gotta give a listen to this.
One thing is, I have Blabbermouth on my phone. It gives me news and stuff.
States. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I know what you guys
But
are
I
talking about.
didn't see anything about T-Pain covering War
Well, that's
Pigs.
like I said, I'm not big on rap. I listened to rap before. I'll always listen to like older rap. I'll always listen to like Tupac and Biggie and stuff like that because those are like the OGs of rap music. I'll always listen to Eminem because he is probably one of, if not the greatest rapper of all time. But there's a band out there, Shark. Hold on, I gotta oops, I gotta look it up real quick. It's in my phone. Shark Mouth something. Hold on. Sharks in Your Mouth. They did a cover to Eminem's song. Right, right. Sharks in Your Mouth. I love it. But they did a cover to Eminem's Lose Yourself, and they actually did pretty good. There's another band that I listen to. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but they've covered other songs. There's another band that I listen to that's done some covers of country music. I don't think they're covering any songs anymore, but because they're recently within the last few months, their lead singer left the band and he's going solo, but he's great. I listen to him too. State of Mind is the band that's covered a few rock songs. They've covered a few country songs, and the former lead singer Jay Gearhart, other known as Rockstar Jay, he's great on vocals. He just released a new song the 29th of last month called Fallout. Really good song. So yeah, I'm a big cover guy. Not saying they're like my favorite thing of all time, but I am big on covers. How about you? Do you like covers of songs?
I like covers. Like I said, a good cover is a good cover. And also, too, the cover of that song of that band can also get that person into that band, and then they
Yes.
can deep
Yeah.
dive through the whole discography, and then they can find out more of just that. I don't want to go into too deep, but I mean, I could just say like Metallica with Garage Inc.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have those covers, and it's a phenomenal covers album.
Yeah.
And and many people don't know Metallica, and they know those songs. They could deep dive any way into Metallica's catalog and find more songs and albums. They're like, oh, I like that album. Oh, I like this album.
Yes. Um, that's like the first song that I heard from the band State of Mind was their cover of Garth Brooks. Shoot, I know it's from Garth Brooks. Thunder Rolls. Thunder Rolls. That's what it was. And they killed it. And that was what really got me into them. They did a cover of. Hold on, I'm going through my Apple Music here because I have so much music in there. I have a boatload of music. They also did a cover of Careless Whisper last year. They did a cover of Gangster's Paradise by Coolio, Heart Shaped Box by Nirvana. And the one that really, really got me, and it's only a couple years old, but they did In the Air Tonight. Great cover. Love it.
Boom, 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 boom.
They also did another country song, What Hurts the Most. I can't remember who did that on the countryside off the top of my head. They've done a cover of Ozzy Osbourne and Post Malone's "Take What You Want." They did a cover of It's Been a While. They also covered Paranoid. That was another one that drew me really into them, was when they did the cover of Paranoid.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, so they did a song. I can't remember who it was. It was a girl. It was a girl group, but they did a cover of the song Survivor. I want to say it was Destiny's Child that did that. They did a song with Jelly Roll last year called "Dragging Me Down." Really good song. Which Jelly Roll, that's a whole other topic. I can get into Jelly Roll. Let's see. And they also did a cover of "Devil Went Down to Georgia." So yeah.
Did they find the soul that they were looking for?
I hope. But yeah, that's another great band. You know, it sucks that them and Jay Gearhart or Rockstar Jay, whatever you want to call him, you know, they went their separate ways, and he, like I said, he just released his newest single, Fallout, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Good song. I look forward to hearing more music from him because he's great on vocals. If you've never heard of either Rockstar Jay, Jay Gearhart, or State of Mind, look them up. I think I found them on Instagram, and they just happened to pop up on my feed, and I'm like, hey, I really like this song. Let me check them out. And I've been listening to them for probably about 2 or 3 years now.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely do a covers episode for sure, and show many covers for that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can. There's numerous covers.
Rest of home not a bundle.
Numerous covers on my phone. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
I was gonna cover Metallica Ride the Lightning.
Sure. Yeah, we can cover.
As one of my favorite Metallica albums. This is my favorite Metallica album. I'm a completist. I'm collector scum. Shout out to Heavy Metal Urgy, because they are one of the podcasts that made me want to do this episode. But me being collector scum, I have to collect every band that I like, and Metallica is one of them. So I mean, I have the top selling Black Album. I don't really listen to it. I have the other ones, Saint Anger, the Pots and Pan album.
Good one.
Yeah, I even have the latest 72 Seasons. I have Hardwire. I have Death Magnetic. The only two, 72 Seasons was a dark album.
Yeah,
Hetfield went through so much, and it's like, dang, bro.
You know, I have a good amount on my phone of Metallica. Like I mentioned earlier, Garage Inc. will always be my favorite. Whiskey in the Jar, favorite all-time Metallica song. And it is definitely my favorite song.
I thought you were really joking about that, but you're really serious. But all these songs that are on Ride the Lightning, like Fight Fire with Fire, Fade to Black, Trapped Under Ice.
Yeah, all good songs. Now I think out of their last 2 or 3 albums.
Oh, we're talking about Death Magnetic, Hardwire, and 72.
Yes. So if we're going to go Death Magnetic, I think it's between The Day That Never Comes and My Apocalypse. If I had to choose out of those two to be my favorite off of Death Magnetic album, would probably be The Day That Never Comes. Hardwired is Now That We're Dead, and I'm not going to lie to you, the first time I heard that song was what WrestleMania was that? Undertaker's last WrestleMania, when he had the Boneyard match, and after the match was over and he hopped back on his bike and rode off in the sunset, they played that song. That was the first time I heard it, and I'm like, yeah, I love that song. That song is killer. Like, who did that? And I'm like, because it didn't click with me right away that it was Metallica, and I was like, cool. Hurried up and pulled my phone out, and I Shazammed it, and I was like, Metallica? No way. So That's probably my favorite song off of that one. Out of 72 seasons, it's hard to pick because that whole album, it's an hour, almost an hour and 20 minutes long.
It's an
Great,
hour. 20
yeah,
minutes.
an hour and 17 minutes. Whew. And it's very dark. Like I didn't expect Metallica to be dark like that.
I like You Must Burn.
I was about to say I was going to say You Must Burn.
Darkness Had a Sun. That's another one.
Yes. I was going to say my top three are probably Sleepwalk My Life Away, You Must Burn, and If Darkness Had a Sun.
And I like the single that they put out was Lefty Turner. I was like, okay,
Yes.
getting back. It was really, really good.
Yes, I mean, out of those top or last three albums, those are my favorite songs off of there. Metallica is definitely a go-to band that I like to listen to. I've actually had the honor to say that I've seen Metallica live. 2017, I think I saw them at M&T Bank Stadium. If memory serves me right, Avenged Sevenfold opened for them.
And Volbeat.
And Volbeat, yes. I couldn't remember the second band.
I have a weakness to say. And there's a person that you can text, Will, and it's my cousin.
Okay.
Bobby. We were driving to leave Loch Raven to go fishing.
Okay.
And they were doing the Metallica ticket giveaway. And they were saying, what was Lars Ulrich's, what was he going to do before he got into music?
Right.
It's like, tennis player.
Right. I was going to say, it was some sport, but I couldn't remember what sport.
And I'm yelling at the radio. And people are calling in and they're saying different off the wall sports, and I'm like, tennis player. And Bobby's like, call it in. I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it. I don't want to. And then sure enough, somebody called and said tennis player, and they're like, you win pit tickets to Metallica. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Oh man.
Now I envy myself because now I really want to see them because I never seen them.
Right.
So they're coming to DC, the Commander Stadium.
Really?
Yes, and Suicidal Tendencies and Pantera's opening up for them.
Oh.
And I'm like, I really want to go. So I looked at tickets, nosebleeds. It's like $100.
Side note: Caps are down 2-0, and the Texas Georgia game went into overtime, 16 apiece.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's a really cool lineup.
Oh yeah.
Suicidal Tendencies and Pantera, which take it as you want it. I mean, Pantera will never be what Vinny and Dime, but I mean, a lot of people are liking it, but take it as you want it.
Exactly. I think my favorite Pantera song is probably I have two. I definitely would have to say Cemetery Gates, and what was the other one? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
My favorite is Hershey, or however you pronounce it, Hershey.
Revolution Is My Name. Cemetery Gates and Revolution Is My Name. Did you get yourself stuck back there? No. But yeah, Metallica was great. I wish I would have when I saw them. I wish I would have saw them in their prime. Not saying that they were bad because they were great. But Motley Crue, I wish both times I would have saw them in their prime, even though the second time was with.
There's two times I would love to have seen Motley back in their prime. Was the first time in '85 was with Loudness opening up for him on the Theater of Pain tour.
Okay.
And the Girls, Girls, Girls tour were a young, hungry Guns N' Roses.
Yes. Recently, within the last don't know, I'd say month, they went back to that I can't remember the name of it, the place on Sunset, one of the first places they ever performed together.
Oh yeah, they went to the Roxy, the Troubadour, and the Whiskey.
Yes. So they actually just recently performed there. It would have been cool if they would have got Mick to come back for just that show. Or for
I
those
actually read an
shows.
article about Mick. Not to cut you off, but Mick is open to only to write music with crew. He doesn't want to tour because his health. But
I was gonna
all
say
he wants to do
he's
is just
pushing like
write
80. Isn't he?
music. All he wants to do is write music with the crew. But
I'm here for
he stated it out. But I don't think as of right now nobody has
it.
from the crew has come back onto that comment to say anything about it. I hope they comment on it because Mick Mars really helped those three, and what Motley was the blue.
Yeah.
Not nothing against John Five or anything like that.
No, that's the thing is John Five's a great guitar player. He was great when he was with Rob Zombie. Periodically he does you'll hear him come out with solo stuff. He's good. I think Nikki, Vince, and Tommy, and even if Mick had in with that decision to bring him on, I think they made a great decision with bringing John Five in. Did I hate seeing him leave Rob Zombie? Yeah. I was just looking not that long ago. Rob Zombie doesn't have Piggy D anymore. So
where's Piggy at?
I'm not sure where he
with me.
I'm not sure if he went back with Manson. I know Rob has Riggs, which he brought back after John Five left. Ginger is still his drummer. I can't remember who he had replace Piggy. But yeah, I didn't even know Piggy left, and I was like, whoa, okay.
I did read an article that Rob Zombie still has not got any text or notification about John Five or anything. I think John Five is pretty much. I mean, if I want to say it like this, I mean, you can shoot me in the face. Well, if I can say that, but I think a lot of people are saying that John Five really piggybacked on the crew to get a big paycheck. But I really don't know if really John Five is making that paycheck. I'm not John Five's accountant, but I don't know if John Five is really making Motley money compared to what what Tommy, Vince, and Nikki are making.
Right. Sarah had texted me. She's at work, and I told her we were on a Skype call, and she said, "Hi, Kyle."
Hi.
And that was the thing is like I don't know if when John Five left Rob Zombie, I don't know if they left on good terms. It never came out.
You think Bad Blood, and then he was just like, "All right, I'm leaving here. Goodbye."
Right. It never came out. Rob himself has never said anything. John Five has never said anything. So I don't know. Like I thought John Five was just joining Motley Crue to do this last tour. I didn't know, and he's been with them 2 years now. I didn't expect Crue to be touring this long.
They also have a Vegas residency coming up in March.
Exactly.
I think March all the way to April.
And I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, Motley Crue needs to just hang it up. Motley Crue just needs to hang it up." And it's like, on one hand, I agree because John Five's the youngest one on the band.
Yes. By not much.
I don't know. I can't even think of their ages off the top of my head, but I think right now Nikki might be the oldest.
Well, me being me, Nikki is 65.
Okay.
Mick. I keep saying Mick. Mick is the oldest.
Yes.
Nikki is 65.
Okay.
Tommy's 50, and Vince Neil is in his 50s as well.
Okay, and I think John Five's like
40.
Yeah, early or late 40s.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're still killing it. They really are, especially for their age. And I give Mick Mars all the respect in the world for wanting to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm done." I don't remember exactly what it was that he had wrong with him.
Yes,
Like
that's
specifically like the name of it. But he had a lot wrong with him when he was younger and when he joined the band. So I give him all the credit in the world. I think that man's pushing like 80,
yeah.
75, 80.
He's doing his thing. And his
Right.
his solo album, Other Side of Mars, that came out this year, really is good. Really good.
I haven't listened to it yet. I plan on it, and you're not the first
Yeah.
person to tell me that it was really good. You know, and I mean, we could even flip it talking about age wise. Ozzy, good. I'm kind of glad. You know, not really. I can't really say I'm glad that Ozzy's not still doing music because I would love for him to still do music. But with him having Parkinson's and him being, or just turning 76, dude, you did it all. Nobody expected him to live to be 76 with all the drugs and stuff that he did.
He has beat a lot of stuff. A lot.
Right. So
I mean, he also beat his body to the ground during his prime and Sabbath and his drug use and all this stuff.
Exactly. Like nobody expected him to live to 76.
He conquered it all.
Yes, and I mean he's even said it even before he turned 76. I'm surprised that I'm still living. And you know, I listen. The Osbournes all have a podcast. So I'm so mad that they haven't put out an episode in probably like 2 months. But
that's because they're busy doing meet and greets and stuff.
Yes. And
like $600 to meet the whole family. I'm like,
I'd pay it. I'd pay it. You know, they're a freaking awesome family. They're hilarious.
I get
that whole family is great. But I think Kelly and Sid, the I can't remember what he plays, but he's a member of Slipknot. I think she's over in the UK or wherever Slipknot is right now for their tour.
Okay.
So she's with him. So I get that. She's been going with him on the Slipknot tour. Their son that they have together has obviously been going with them. So that's another thing that's stopping them from doing episodes of their podcast. And I mean, I get it. Ozzy's old. Sometimes Ozzy may tell them, you know what, fuck off. I don't want to do I don't want to do an episode. Just leave me alone.
Right.
But yeah, their podcast is great. I mean, if nobody's ever listened to it, it's literally called The Osbournes. I think it's just called The Osbournes. Let me pull up my podcast app. Yeah, it's just called The Osbournes Podcast. Actually, they haven't done an episode in almost 3 months. September 10th was the last time they did an episode. And then Ozzy also has a podcast himself with Billy Morrison called The Madhouse Chronicles, where they talk about shit that they did in the past, drugs, shows.
He even came out with a new song, Crack Cocaine.
Yes.
It's an alright song.
Yes, that is a great song. And I mean, me being a fan of the whole Osbourne family, Jack, their son, has a podcast where he he's into the paranormal stuff. So he's got one that's called Ghost and Grits with Jack Osbourne. Great. He goes to all these paranormal places and does exploring. And a few episodes he's talked about when him and his dad went and had done paranormal stuff. But that whole family is great. The bullshit that they dealt with throughout the years. Especially all the things that Ozzy's did in his life, all the drugs. Almost killing Sharon.
Yeah.
Because of the drugs. Him shutting her out when he wanted to go on a bender, and her saying, you know what, no, I'm not giving up on you. You're not shutting me out. He's stated numerous times, and I've seen videos, he said that is the love of his life. He said some days he loves her, some days he hates her. He said, but at the end of the day, he would always choose her. She is the reason that man is still alive. Like, yeah, he has part of the reason why he is still alive, because he gave up and said, you know what, I'm done doing this. But a lot of people should give her a lot of credit for not only one, sticking with him, but two, putting her foot down and saying, you know what, you're done with this, and I'm going to help you. But yeah, let's see, what can we talk about now?
Well, I can thumb through some of my other favorite records, and you can chime in if you want
Sure.
to. T Rex the Slider, another 70s glam rock band that, like I said, the reason why I got into this band was reading a lot of interviews about Motley Crue and Nikki Sixx. He said he loved T Rex, and then also in the Dirt, he played one of the T Rex albums.
Nice.
And this is a reissue, and it's pretty cool. I got this at Soundgarden years ago, and it's on clear vinyl. Clear.
Nice. Nice.
Do you know anything about the T Rex?
I personally don't, honestly.
These are some really cool songs. If you really want to check these out, Will, I would listen to Metal Guru,
Okay.
uh, Baby Boomerang. These are really cool. Spaceball Ricochet.
I feel like I've heard that one.
that song rocks.
I feel like I've heard that song before.
The Slider, of course, the title track, the Slider.
Yeah.
That was the first song I got into T Rex, and then of course this is my favorite, favorite album by them, Majestic Lady. I mean, this album is really good.
Nice.
Now another album that I'm going to show, I think will say much on this record because I know that you know this band and you can agree. But my favorite album by this would be number 3 if I really want to rank bands. This band
Okay.
is number 3. Rat, Invasion of Your Privacy. And it's got You're in Love, Never Use Love, Lay It Down, Closer to My Heart. Uh, What You Get Is What You Get. That's probably one of my favorite songs on this record. You should know by now, Dangerous but Worth the Risk. This is
Yeah.
those pictures of there's
That's
Stephen
definitely my
Pearcy,
favorite.
Juan, King, Bob, and Juan. I mean, this band is crazy, and also they toured with Ozzy as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, Another summer album that I enjoy the most by this band is Van Halen and Shooting Stars.
Okay.
And it's
I feel like I've heard that one.
got the song "And the Cradle Will Rock." Fools is my favorite song on this album. Fools is really
Okay.
good. Take your whiskey home. Everybody wants some. The last song on it. Everybody wants some. I want some too. I mean, it's a great album.
Right.
Great album. And then a band that says they weren't part of a movement. It would be Def Leppard. On Through the Night. They say that they weren't part of the new wave of British heavy metal. They were a pop band. Newsflash, Def Leppard.
You were. You were.
You were
Yeah.
Wasted on side 2, song 1. Wasted. One of
Wasted
the
is
rockin' tunes. On Through the Night. This is a good record.
Yes, I can agree with that. I want to go back to Ozzy just for 1 second, and you can just give me your honest opinion. Who was Ozzy's best guitarist?
Andy Rhodes.
Mine, honestly, I can't pick out of the two. Randy Rhodes and Zach Wild. I can't pick who was better.
I mean,
and honestly, I think
I'm a big Randy Rhodes guy. I mean, I like him more than Eddie.
Okay.
But that's just me. I mean, I like Zach too, but I mean, I just feel that Randy, and also too, Randy only did 2 albums because of his accident. But at the same time,
Yes.
I mean,
I can agree with that.
if Randy didn't do it, would we have Jakey Lee and Zach Wild in the band?
Right.
I mean, you can't forget Gus G either in the later albums.
No, you can't.
Can't forget Gus G. Gus G is a good guitar player as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Another 70s glam rock guy or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare. This was
Great album.
one of my favorite albums. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Only Women Bleed, Welcome to My Nightmare, Devil's Food, The Black Widow.
And see, that was the thing is, when I was at the record store today, I actually saw some early, and I mean early, like before he started wearing the makeup and kind of look, I guess, dead. Um, Alice Cooper, like early stuff, and I was just like, wow. Maybe it may have been before.
The Alice Cooper band, or Alice Cooper character, I should say.
Yes.
Because in the 70s, he was, it was the Alice Cooper band. But then when it got to the 80s, he became the character Alice Cooper. And it's just, he became like the centerpiece, and then the band was the backing piece.
Yes.
I mean, I still enjoy Alice Cooper stuff in the 80s, but I like the stuff more in the 70s. And I mean, I have a full Alice, some of Alice Cooper's stuff from the 70s and stuff like that. It's just really good. But this was the first one I grabbed on that one. And then this one is my favorite Queen album. And a lot of people don't really. I mean, there may be a fan base out there. If there is, please let me know, because me and that other person out there, or you will maybe, but Queen too.
Yeah,
Queen,
I grew up on Queen.
Queen
They're not
too.
my go-to, but I grew up.
I mean, the last album, the last album. This ain't the last album. Seven Seas of Rhyme, the last song. Seven Seas, where Brian May just goes into a freaking guitar solo, and it's just really good.
I can agree with that.
Father to Son. This is a. This, and it has a cool gatefold as well. With a picture of the band, like white feather boas. But it's glam rock as you could get, and Queen is really good. I really listen to like the 70s stuff. I really don't listen to anything else after that.
Right.
You have anything else to say before I just start lightning round other albums?
No, I mean, I don't have anything to piggyback off of what you've mentioned so far.
I think I got one. Okay. Anthrax, Among the Living, my favorite Anthrax album. This was the first thrash band I got into, and Anthrax will always be number one to me. And this was the first album I got into them by them. I mean, Among the Living, Caught in a Mosh, I Am the Law, Equal Festival, or whatever you want to, however you say, Nice Stuff in Life. I mean, this whole album is fantastic. And I seen them down at Ram's Head. They opened. I have to go on a little rant. They were they were on a Killthrax tour. They were headlining with Killswitch Engage, and a band that opened up for them was Havoc, which they rock. I seen them open up for Exodus a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
It was a really cool show. I got a bruised rib, and it was in the mosh. It was a freaking tarnish show with the Exodus show and Havoc.
Right.
But anyway, Anthrax was headlining, and Killswitch Engage, in my words, was bitching and whining that Anthrax was blowing them off the stage. So Anthrax was like, look, we got 5 shows left. You can headline. We don't care. Have at it. So when I seen them, Havoc opened, and then Anthrax came on, and when they did Indians, there was like beer buckets full of Scotty Ian guitar picks, and when they did like the breakdown of of the Indians when they yelled "War Dance," through guitar picks, people were moshing, and then when the song was over, everybody was picking each other up, and it was like a matching game. It's like, do you have a guitar pick yet? What color would you like?
Nice.
There was so many of them all over the floor because I was in the pit at Ram's Head. You probably been to Ram's Head a couple times.
Numerous times.
Before I go on, I have a question to ask you.
Sure.
Do you prefer Soundstage or Ram's Head?
Um, I'll have to go with Ram's Head. Soundstage was small. Like
It
the
is.
because
Yeah.
just to factor in how small Soundstage was. The last show that I saw at Soundstage was two bands that I would never think would do a show together. Was ICP and POD.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So
We talked about this like off camera. Yeah.
yeah. So that was crazy. Like it was hard to everybody wants to mosh at rock concerts. Everybody does. So it was kind of hard in Soundstage to start a little pit. I mean, we did it, but it wasn't that great. So yeah, Soundstage was really small. I prefer Ram's Head.
Right.
Because especially when ICP performed and they did their huge Fago shower and they're throwing out buckets of Fago onto the crowd and they're opening up 2 liters and starting to, spraying some and then they throw them out into the crowd. It was kind of rough. And also Soundstage does not do a great job of cleaning because now that I think about it, I went back to Soundstage the next day. Can't remember who was playing. I don't think it was a band that I knew or was interested in seeing. I just went with a couple friends of mine. The floor was still sticky from the night before when ICP was there and all the Fago got on the floor. So Soundstage does a shitty job of cleaning their floors. But yeah, I always preferred Ram's Head over Soundstage all day.
Yeah. When I went to the Exodus show, there was confetti stuck on the ceiling.
Yeah, that's the thing is like when I went back the next night to Soundstage, there was still empty 2 liters of Fago in the freaking rafters that made it up that got thrown up that high. And it's like, really? You guys couldn't get a ladder and get those or look up and say, hey, you know what? There's empty bottles of 2 liter, empty bottles of Fago in the rafters. Maybe we should get them down.
Right.
So yeah. And I mean, Soundstage was nice. Don't get me wrong, it was nice. But it was just
Soundstage is still nice. They put on some good shows. I meant to tell you this. In February, Kerry King is coming to Soundstage.
I think
Opening act is Municipal Waste.
nice. I think maybe a year before I left. I can't remember how long it was before I moved. Disturbed performed a Soundstage. I wanted to go, but for some reason I wasn't able to. I can't remember.
There was that Soundstage a couple months ago. They were at CFG with the band that you were talking about, Falling in Reverse. I was like,
nice. I didn't know Falling in Reverse was coming there, but I didn't know Disturbed was with them.
yeah,
No,
just
Creed was just at CFG with
yeah. It was
it was Creed and somebody. Yes.
yeah. I was like, wow.
And that's the thing. Is like these bands of the 90s just randomly started making a comeback. Limp Bizkit made a comeback and toured. Creed and somebody else. I can't remember who. Yeah. But it was like 2 bands that were big in the 90s just magically popped up and wanted to do a tour. And those 2 are the only ones that I can remember off the top of my head.
Well, I'm not going to show everything. I'm going to just not shut it down, but I'm just going to dropped it down a little bit to show off a little bit of more of my favorite albums.
Okay.
But I'm going to show one of my favorite albums by the band Testament, and it's The Legacy, the debut.
I actually at the record store today, I actually saw a Testament shirt. It was a little faded. It was gray. It was simple. It was a gray shirt, but you could tell it was somebody's shirt before, and they just sold it. And it was extremely faded.
Yep, Testament, the Legacy. I pointed out some more Testament stuff
Right.
for Christmas, so we'll see. And my favorite album by this band,
Ooh.
um, I got into this band after Anthrax, which I should have did it backwards by talking to
Right.
other people. They're like, "You didn't get into this band, then Anthrax." I was like, "Nah." I went Anthrax, and then I went to this band because I heard Anthrax kept saying his name so much, and it's Judas Priest screaming vengeance. This is a really good. I mean, it's really good. I mean, it's got Electric Eye, the intro of the Hellion. I mean, if somebody would come up to me and say, "What is a handful of albums that I should get into?" This would be one of them on my list. And another one that I'm going to say that I don't have, I,
Right.
I have it, but it's not with me. It's at my house in my other collection because I
Right.
have two collections. I have some over there and then some here, and it will be Iron Maiden Killers. That is my favorite Iron Maiden record. Don't get me wrong, I like Bruce Dickinson stuff, but
Right.
Paul Diano, R.I.P.
Yes.
Killers is a phenomenal
I can agree.
record. Um, but yeah, back to Judas Priest. I mean, this has so much stuff. I mean, say what you want. I do like Take These Chains. It was, I mean, it's
I
somewhat
can
of a
agree.
ballad.
I can
Uh,
agree.
Devil's Child. I mean, this is a really good record. Um, Another one. I like the album, but I don't like the title track. And
Okay.
it would be Warrant's Cherry Pie.
I can agree with that.
Everything else on this record rocks, but just the
Right.
title track, Cherry Pie, is just. Eh. It's like once the first track's over with Cherry Pie, everything else phenomenal record. It's a really
Gotcha.
good record.
I can see that.
Another one. I don't know if you've seen this band or not. Will I have not seen them yet, or any form of this band, and this is my favorite album by them, and it's Queensryche, the Rage to Order. I
I
don't
don't
know
think.
if you've never seen Queensryche.
Hmm, I don't think I have.
Some of the songs on here, "I Dream in Infrared," that's really good.
Right.
"I'm Gonna Get Close to You," which actually is a cover.
Okay.
Um, London, that's a really good deep track in my opinion on side two. London is, I mean, it's screaming in digital. I mean, this stuff. I mean, a lot of people like The Warning, or a lot of people like Operation Mindcrime, which I don't mind Operation Mindcrime. I mean,
Right.
everybody likes it. And then, of course, everybody loves Empire.
Yes.
It's one of their bigger albums. But to me, I like later, early Queensryche.
Right.
That's my favorites. Another band that's really good. Motorhead, Ace of
Yes.
Spades.
Oh, goats. Those are the goats.
I mean,
Let
this
me
whole
inside.
album. I mean, "Love Me Like a Reptile." I mean,
Yeah.
"Shoot You in the Back." Uh, Jailbait. The Chase is better than the Catch. I mean, this is a really good record, and this is a really
Yes.
cool version that I have. It's a
That is a really cool version.
like a real book. It's like a book, and it has like the cool pictures and stuff.
Nice.
And then one has the album. It's remastered, and
Right.
then the other one is a live album, and it's live of December 23rd, 1981, and it's a live album, and it's really cool.
Ooh.
I love live albums. That's probably another episode we could talk about is our favorite live albums. But
Okay.
I'm a sucker for live albums. It's really good stuff, and I got that one. And then say what you want, folks, about this band. I mean, probably the other stuff I've been showing, it's like, what? You listen to this and this and that. But, like,
Right.
this is, to me, a lot of people will probably say this is a low blow because this is everybody. But This was the first album I got into by this band, is AC/DC Highway to Hell. And it's one of my favorites. I mean, I don't have to say nothing because probably most of these songs are on rock radio, so you know this album very well.
Right.
It's just say what you want about them. They're actually coming to CFG, and not CFG, not CFG, Washington Stadium.
Okay.
And the opener is the Pretty Reckless, which I'm not too happy about the opening act for that. Pretty Reckless.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Pretty Reckless. I mean, I like them, but they're not my.
Yeah, I looked at ticket prices. Nosebleeds are $110, and I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm like, I don't know about that. Because I'll be honest, because I was talking to Savannah about this.
Okay.
It was like two strikes. It was like number one, the opening act is like, and number two is the ticket price. And even Savannah said when we saw Motley Crue, which I saw Motley Crue with Mick Mars on the stadium tour, with them in Hershey, and it was,
okay. That was like a few years back, wasn't it?
Yeah, I seen him
like
in.
Was it right before or right after COVID?
Right after COVID, because this tour was supposed to happen, but then COVID happened and a lockdown, and they weren't ready yet. They weren't feeling it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, tickets weren't even that bad either, and we were in standing section, which I mean, you've seen them that big, but I mean, still,
right,
wasn't even that much. And even when I went to go see Kiss on the farewell tour at CFG, I was in the nosebleeds in the upper 200s. It was $50.
Nice.
$50 to see them. That was a cool show too. It was like I told Savannah when I was leaving, it was my first and last time seeing Kiss. So I mean, if they come back, don't come back.
I'm ashamed to say that I never saw Kiss before they said they were done. No, I wanted to see Kiss quite a few times and then never got a chance.
Did they come by you during the farewell tour?
I think they did, and if they did, I didn't pay attention to it because I've just been so busy lately. I was hoping they were going to be at Rockville next year. You know, if they were going to extend their tour out a little bit longer.
Right.
Hopefully for that, but their last show was here recently. Actually, it was within the last few weeks.
Another album by this band, I play this. I play one. I play the. I'll just show it. David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, The Spiders from Mars.
Well, that's a good album too.
It's a really good album. I mean, when I play this full album and when Ziggy Stardust comes back on, I play it like 3 times because it's just it's such a great song. I don't know, and I love David Bowie. I was very upset when David Bowie actually passed away because I was like,
yes,
I never seen David Bowie. I never did. Them and the Stones. I never seen the Stones either. I would Stones. I got 4 more, and that's it. I'm gonna chime in on these 4. Go right ahead. Overkill, The Years of Decay. This is a really good album. If you haven't heard this one yet, Will,
I have not.
This is like a thrash Sabbath album.
Okay.
It's real dark and it's really good. I mean, you got Elimination, Playing with Spiders / Calls, Skull Crusher with a cat.
You're okay.
You're okay. Will, what's up, buddy?
Say hi. No.
Do you know who Overkill is? Because if you did,
have heard of Overkill.
If you know who Overkill is, little Will, your daddy raised you very well.
he will. Trust me, I know he will.
But yeah, if you haven't heard this album, this is really good. And also, Taking Over is pretty good too, but this one, I do prefer this one. And also their debut, Feel the Fire, is really good too. I would just stick with those 4. unless you want to go down the rabbit hole with Overkill. But they
Okay.
have some moments where it's like, but yeah,
Trust me,
this one's
I've
really good.
some bands. I get
Uh,
that a lot.
Now, when you look at this album cover, you
Mhm.
think this is not a glam rock album or glam metal album whatsoever. This is more of a. Oh, you know where I'm
Agree.
going with this?
Yes. Oh,
It's just if you look at it, you'd be like, oh, it's a glam metal album. No, not really. This is like a rock and blues album. This is like AC/DC, in my opinion.
right.
Cinderella Night Songs. I mean, this full album is really good. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with any of these songs, in my opinion. I love these songs a lot. Um, another one, another tried and true band that I love them a lot is LA Guns.
I like LA Guns as well.
And this has No Mercy, Sex Action, Electric Gypsy, Bitches Back, uh,
Hey, come here.
really good stuff.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I like LA Guns.
Yep. And my last and final album that I will be seen it from the top, and it's Wasp's debut album.
Ooh.
This is really, I Want to Be Somebody, The Flame, Alien, On Your Knees, Tormentor, The Torture Never Stops. I mean, this album is just really, really good. And I have more. There's show. I mean, we could talk for hours about our favorite albums and what
Oh, yes, for
covered
sure.
so much. But yeah, that was our first episode, Rock and Metal Hellions,
Hell
and
yeah.
it was a double doozy.
Yeah, for sure.
It was fun.
Hell, before we close out, you want to get into Rockville?
Yeah. I wasn't
Oh,
ready
okay,
to
okay.
close out and say anything. I was just done showing the albums and stuff. But we could talk about shows that are coming up that we're uh going to go see and stuff like that. But since you have one that you already are going to, you can talk about it.
Well, before I get into the show that I'll be going to next year. There is a show that I really wish I could go to. Um, Actually, this coming Friday in Orlando, Steel Panther is going to be in Orlando. God, I wish I could go see them. I seen them for the first time in 2015. I went to another big all day rock concert, and they were kind of like quote unquote the after party after everything was over. First time I ever saw them, first time I ever listened to them, and I thought they were great. Um,
I
and
actually still
they're going
got
to be in.
too.
They are another good band. They're hilarious. They're freaking hilarious. Um, but the big show that I'm going to next year in May, it's a 4-day rock fest that is every year
He's
here.
excited too. He's
He
excited.
is. That's here in Daytona on the Speedway every year is called Welcome to Rockville. Next year will be my third year going. Second year actually going all 4 days. I'll start off by saying here are the 4 headliners for each day. So it's Thursday through Sunday. Thursday's headliner is Shinedown. Friday is Green Day. Saturday I'm not too keen on it because they're just not the same. Is Linkin Park, and then that's Saturday's headliner, and then
Will's
Sunday's
not a fan
headliner
of the new
is.
singer, I see.
I'm not. I like their new song, but her trying to do Chester songs, not a fan of it.
You didn't buy the new record?
I didn't. I mean, I have the new song. I can't even remember what the name of the song is, but it's a good song.
Something with a crown?
Yes.
I don't really know.
It's something dealing with a crown. I'm sorry. I haven't been a fan. I'm not a new fan of, or I'm not a fan of them since this girl took over doing the vocals. But then Sunday's headliner is Korn. Um,
90s takeover.
right. Yeah, a 90s takeover pretty much. So besides Shinedown being Sir, we're trying to do a show here. So
He's
besides
like,
Shinedown,
90s.
so besides Shinedown being Thursday's headliner, I'm just going to go down the whole list every day and name the bands that are going to be there. So Thursday you got Three Doors Down, Hailstorm, Theory of a Dead Man, Blue October, Evans Blue, Royale Lynn, Rob Zombie. Pretty excited to see Rob Zombie. It'll be like my 4th or 5th time seeing Rob Zombie. 3 Days Grace, 2X, since their original singer is back with the band.
Yep.
Trivium, Crossfade, Finger 11, Saving Abel, Smile Empty Soul, Bullet for My Valentine, Asking Alexandria, We Came as Romans, From Ashes to New, Fit for a King, Until I Wake, Of Virtue, The Pretty Wild, Body Count, Arch Enemy, Exodus, the Exia Strain, Guar, which I'm pretty excited to see. Sir, I'm pretty excited to see Guar.
Don't do that.
I'm pretty excited to see Guar. I've been wanting to see them for a while.
Don't say that.
And then you have Frozen Soul, Shadow of Intent, Gates to Hell, the Dillinger Escape Plan, Quicksand, Health, Converge. Sir. Okay. Harm's Way, Candy, and Big Ash Truck. Some of these bands I never heard of, probably won't go see. I may go see a few.
Transylvania. He wants to see Transylvania.
Hey.
Over Rockville.
And then Friday, besides Green Day being their headliner, you have Alice in Chains, Jimmy Eats World, Newfound Glory, Bowling for Soup, Lit, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. I'm pretty excited to see them. Good Charlotte, banger of a band from the 90s. Sublime, Bush, Candlebox, Everclear, Dorothy, Dexter and the Monarchs, Knock Loose, I don't even know how to say that band. Incendiary, Era, Invent Animate, Boundaries, One Step Closer, Left to Suffer, Killswitch Engage, Ginger, August Burns Red, As I Lay Dying, All That Remains, It Dies Today, Butcher Babies, Bleed From Within, Under Oath, Seosin, Silverstein, Devil Wears Prada, Silent Planet, Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, Ailsana, I Set My Friends on Fire. And then Saturday, along with Linkin Park, you have Incubus, Beartooth, Taking Back Sunday, POD, Hoobastank, Sleep Theory, Pierce the Veil, I Prevail, Hollywood Undead, Sleeping with Sirens, Of Mice and Men, Escape the Fate, Liliac, Mastodon, Obituary, Municipal Waste, Nails, Havoc, Dead Heat, Chain Saint, Dayseeker, Bill Murray.
Dead Heat. That's who opened up for the Exodus show. I couldn't remember the name. Dead Heat. They're like a crossover thrash band. They're really good.
Interesting. The Plot and You, Set It Off, Real Friends, The Funeral Portrait, Nerve, Never Tell, Whitechapel, All Shall Perish, Attila, After the Burial, Emir, Brand of Sacrifice, Upon a Burning Body, and Angel Maker. And then, close out Sunday, you have, along with Korn, Marilyn Manson, Chevelle, Daltrey, Filter, Snot, The Union Underground, Bad Omens, Mudvayne, Motionless in White, Seven Dust, Chimeria, Orgy Kill Logic, Return to Dust, Insane Clown Posse, which it's their second year back to back. They were there earlier this year and they're coming back again for next year.
I have a question after you're all done with that.
Sure. Testament. Yes, Testament, the Black Dahlia murder, or the Black Dahlia murder. 7 hours after Violet, Fit for an Autopsy, Gate Creeper, Sanjistagabog. Sorry if I'm butchering any of these bands. Alt, Chiodos, which I'm pretty excited to see Chiodos, Hawthorne Heights, Memphis May Fire, Bless the Fall, Attack Attack, A Skylit Drive, Caskets, Windwalkers, Power Trip, Death Heaven, Tsunami, Pain of Truth, 200 Stab Wounds, Peeling Flesh, Body Box, and Mugshot. Pretty excited to see a shit ton of those bands. A lot of those bands are, as they put on there at the bottom of the lineup, some bands had a little asterisk next to them, and at the bottom of the lineup it says, indicates a reunion or special performance. So a lot of those bands are either reuniting or they're just doing a special performance. Pretty exciting.
You're gonna like Havoc. You're gonna like Municipal Waste.
Okay.
Municipal Waste is like a newer thrash band, but they're freaking really good. I have some of their stuff in the room. It's really good. Slime and Punishment's a really good record.
Okay.
And then Havoc is they got twin guitars. They're really good.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for it.
Now I have some questions to ask about Rockville, and maybe some people will ask in the comments.
Sure.
Will you be able to see all these bands?
Not at once. So Rockville has, like I said, if you don't know what Daytona International Speedway looks like, Google it, get a bird's eye view. That way you can see, because it doesn't happen specifically on the track. You get to walk across the track pretty much to get into it. The whole festival, if that's what you want to call it, happens on the infield. The infield is massive. Rockville has about 4 or 5 stages. One stage on each end of the infield, which are their main stages. And it's a pretty good walk to get to either main stage. And then you have 3 smaller stages, which are for bands that some popular bands play on those stages. For example, this year they played ICP at one of the small stages, and in my opinion, it was probably one of their worst mistakes that they could have did, because I am a juggalo. I listened to ICP growing up, got really into them heavy again when I was in high school. I don't wear my Hatchet Man, that scene's not for me anymore. But I don't do the face paint if I go to see them again. Last time I did face paint was when I seen them in 2015 with POD. This year I didn't do it. Did I wear an ICP shirt and my Hatchet Man? Yes, because I wanted to take that trip down memory lane and feel like I was in high school again. But like I said, it was a bad idea for them to put on a small stage, because I don't think they expected to have that many juggalos and juggalettes there to see them at once. Because once ICP got started and they got going and things became lit, however you want to put it, it was shoulder to shoulder. Did I still have fun seeing them? Yes. Did I still get wet with Fago? Yes. But I'm hoping next year they put them on a bigger stage, put them on hopefully one of the main stages, or put them on another side stage that's not in a small area. But going back to Kyle's question, no, you cannot see all the bands at once.
It's not like M3, folks.
Right. I had to make a few sacrifices with bands this year that I have seen before that I also wanted to see again this year at Rockville. I seen Evanescence in 2023 when they were there, and the one day that I went, and they were there again, I sacrificed to not see them again. not really a big Evanescence fan. I just wanted to say that I saw them. So luckily I saw them last year. Did I listen to some bands this year that I had never heard of? Yes. One that pops into my head automatically is a Japanese band called Sim. I learned that Sim is the band that came up with and sings the leads or the opening song to the anime One Piece. They are great. I was kind of hoping they were going to be there again this year or for next year. They're a great band. I would listen to them, or I would go see them again if I wanted to. So yeah, you have to make sacrifices and you have to time it out, because when it gets closer to Rockville, they'll start releasing the times of what time each band is playing. So yeah, you have to plan out your day. And if a band starts playing in the middle of the performance of a band you already are seeing, you got to make that decision. Like, hey, do I want to miss a couple songs of the band that I want to go see next so I can finish out this show, and then hurry up and run over to the other show and go see that one? You might have to. So yeah, you got to plan accordingly. They, towards the end of the night, when it gets closer to the last two bands to play, you'll be able to, figure out who you want to see. It's a lot of walking, especially you could be the second main stage at one end of the track, and at the big main stage where all the headliners play to close out the night, could another band during the day could be playing on that stage and you're all the way at the other end. So yeah, for example, whatever day it is, I can't remember what day it is, when Daltrey plays, my fiance told me, Sarah told me, she's like, I don't care who we are seeing. When it's time to go see Daltrey, she was like, I'm leaving whatever band we're seeing at that time. She was like, because I want to be right up front. She was like, I will push through everybody to get up front to see Daltrey. I said, okay, babe, cool. I want to see Daltrey too. I like Daltrey. So I'm going to make sure her and I get up close and personal to see Daltrey. So yeah, you just got to plan accordingly. And if a band starts playing while you're seeing a band that you really wanted to see, you got to make that sacrifice. Like, hey, am I going to miss the rest of this one to go see this band, or am I going to stay and miss the first 2 or 3 songs of one band? So yeah, I would say definitely plan accordingly. But you can't make that decision until either the day before or the day after, or the day before or the day of. Like I know this year, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday were the days that I went like an hour. I got there about an hour and a half after they opened. Saturday, the lineup wasn't that great, so we probably got there at like 4:35 in the evening, because the lineup just wasn't that great on Saturday. But I mean, I'm going to get there as early as I can all 4 days next year, because the lineup is stacked. And I mean, the headliners for this past year, day one was Motley Crue. Friday was Limp Bizkit. Saturday was Foo Fighters, and Sunday was Slipknot. So yeah, and I mean, like I said, they had ICP there this year. They're going to be back again for next year. So them and Jelly Roll are probably the only 2 bands that you wouldn't consider rock that were there that I can remember right off the top of my head. So I mean, they always bring in somebody that isn't rock, and I guess next year you can say it's ICP again. And I'm hoping and praying, because last year when I went, and I saw Rob Zombie, because he was the co-headliner, because Slipknot was the headliner of the only day that I went last year. Rob Zombie had a lot of technical problems with his equipment, so I'm hoping next year he doesn't have that problem. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for next year. I'm going to make sure I take plenty of pictures, videos, things like that.
Like I said, since you're part of the Rock and Metal Hellions, you can put it on the YouTube. After this episode's over with, I will let you share the information and uh, post, you know,
And
videos and
and if
stuff.
you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. I know if you guys probably the number one question you guys will probably have: are tickets still available? Last time I checked,
Are they still available?
last time I checked, they still were. I could be wrong. Me personally, I put my tickets on layaway. I only had to put $1 down, and the 15th of every month, I'm paying towards my Rockville tickets, and they'll be paid off literally a month before the show, and probably about 2 weeks before the show. My wristbands will come to me in the mail, and that's how you get in every day. Each day, if you choose to go one day, your wristband will be a different color. For all 4 days, it's one color. That's how you get into the concert. You'll link your credit card because pretty much everything there is
To your wristband, and then all you
your
do.
wristband. Yeah, that's how you pay for everything.
I wish M3 would do that because you know M3. M3 is God.
I'm just gonna go with the lights off. At least I can still be seen a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, you'll link your bank card or your credit card, whatever you want to use, to your wristband. And I'm not saying don't bring cash because there are some stands, like merch stands, clothing stuff like that, that take cash. Um, but yeah, you know, go and welcome to Rockville.com. See if there's still passes available. Last time I checked, within like the last week, 2 weeks, give or take, there were still passes available. Me personally, I paid for me and my fiance to go all 4 days with the shipping and the fees, about $725 for all 4 days for the both of us. If it's just one of you going, I think last year, because my fiance wasn't able to go this year with me all 4 days, I think I paid just over $300 for me to go all 4 days. So yeah, it's totally worth it.
How about 6? No, I'm just kidding.
And I've got, when I say I've got a group of people that I go with, it's probably about a dozen of us, and I have a friend of mine that's coming all the way from Arkansas.
Is that a shot at me, Will? Do you want me to come? Is that what is this the shot?
Yeah. Heck yeah, I wish you could come. I mean, if you can't come next year, it's every year. It's every year at the Speedway. Every year. It used to be in Jacksonville, and then for some reason they moved it to Daytona. And it's been in Daytona since I think 2020. I think. So, yeah,
I have another question. Maybe I'm speaking for everybody.
Sure.
Can you bring a lawn chair?
You cannot.
Nope. Sorry.
Yes, that you cannot.
Stand. You gotta stand.
Yes, you can stand or sit on the ground.
Stand or sit.
Stand or sit. Yep.
Plop where you want or walk where you want.
Yes. Yeah. It's so worth it. I try to get everybody that I know that listens to rock music to go every year once they release the dates and release the lineup.
I mean, like I said, Will sent it to me. He's like, check it out, and I was like,
yeah. So,
I mean, seeing Testament, Exodus, and I didn't know Havoc was going to be there.
I'm pretty excited. There's a bunch of bands that are actually
Havoc, Municipal Waste, and stuff like that. It's really cool.
And the thing is like this year, there were bands that have done songs together. Like for example, Falling in Reverse did a song right before Rockville this year with Tech Nine and Alex Terrible from Slaughter to Prevail. And while Falling in Reverse was performing, I think Tech Nine was either just finishing up or was performing, but he wasn't on long because just like ICP, they put Tech Nine on a smaller stage. Why, I don't know. Tech Nine is a big artist. But during Ronnie started performing that new song, well, it's not really new anymore, but it's called Ronald. And next thing I know, here comes, it comes to Tech Nine's part of the song. Here comes Tech Nine from, backstage rapping his part of the song. And the next thing you know, Alex Terrible's part of the song comes. And, if you don't know who Alex Terrible is, dude's got a deep, deep voice. Like, he's got a really heavy, primo voice. And he came out, with his mask on and everything. And all three of them just did the song together. And it was great because all three of them just happened to be performing that day, and they all performed before Falling in Reverse. I think Falling in Reverse may have been the co-headliner. So yeah, it was great to have all three of them actually perform that song live for the very first time. So Welcome to Rockville was the first to see them actually do that song live.
Not bad.
Like, okay, for instance, next year, my fiance and I we're kind of hoping for it. Daltrey and Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm did a cover together. I think I can't remember what, but they're performing on separate days next year, and we're kind of hoping that during one of their performances, either during Daltrey, Lizzie comes out, or during Hailstorm, Chris comes out, and actually they do that cover together. Or if they do it, separate on both of their days, it would be pretty cool. Trying to see what the name of that song was. Close My Eyes Forever. They did a cover.
Oh, they did the Ozzy song.
Yes, it was the Ozzy song. Yes, Close My Eyes Forever. So yeah, when we decide to do covers on one of the episodes, definitely listen to that song before we do that, because I think they killed it. In my opinion, they killed it.
Will do. I will definitely. I would dig through.
Another band that was there that this year, which was Nita Strauss from Alice Cooper. She was there. Great. I like Nita Strauss. So yeah, she was great to see there. Kerry King from yes, just drawing a blank there. He was there. He happened to be performing while I wanted to see a band that I really wanted to see. So I caught like the last maybe 15, 20 minutes of his performance, which he was great. Shit. Who else was there? Motley was great. You Are Okay back there. Theory of a Dead Man, they were there again. Slipknot. In This Moment, I think. Bad Wolves. Really wasn't keen on them since Tommy Vex left them. Saliva, Drowning Pool, Skillet. They were all there. Yeah. Pretty excited to see Bullet for My Valentine. I saw them the first year I went. They're pretty good live.
That's what's up.
Disturbed. They were there. I think out of everybody, minus like the headliners and stuff like that, Falling in Reverse was probably one of my favorites. POD this year, same thing that happened to Rob Zombie the year prior. They were having technical problems, so hopefully they don't have any this year. Hearing the lead singer from Disturbed live, because that was my first time seeing Disturbed live. Oh my god, his voice is great. Live, he's fucking fantastic. Especially hearing him do Sound of Silence. Whew, dude kills it. Even live.
I do hear that some singers, a lot of singers
Yeah.
really take good care of their voice while they're on tour. I guess they don't talk much or do much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sit in silent and just let the vocal cords rest.
Yep.
And then they put on a great show.
Yeah. You okay? You okay now? I still got to get you dinner. I know. Daddy still got to eat too.
Well, on that note, I will let everybody go. Thank you
Sounds
for
good.
watching. Thank you for watching the first episode, and thank you, Will, for coming on and actually starting
Anytime.
this up. Because I mean, like I said, this has been in the works for a very long time, and
Yeah.
I'm finally pulling the trigger on it. And here we go, folks. The first episode. It was
Great. It was great. Look
it
forward
was
to
great.
episode 2.
Looking forward for episode 2 on Friday for sure. We'll be doing the deep dive on the movie The Dirt.
Yes. All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. And I will text you later. You go get some food, and I will catch you later, man.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right.